Shalom, shalom, akiyam. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Quadash. I would also like to give a double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. I would also like to say peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, scattered throughout all four corners of this earth. It's just Bayan back again through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And I just wanted to get into a quick lesson going into this article, which is going into the persecution that's to come, which is biblical prophecy. Those of us that, fear Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, we're going to be persecuted. And it's going to be, those of our own households, our family, our friends, so-called, those of our kin that are going to turn their sin, man. And Big Brother Yahweh Shai warned us of these things. So through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, I want to get straight into this article. Lord willing, this is not going to be that long. But before we do, let's grab 2 Timothy real quick in the 3rd chapter, in the 12th verse, and it reads, "Yeah, and all that will live godly in Yahweh Shai HaMashiach shall suffer persecution." You see, it says shall suffer, so it's unavoidable. And what I wanted to do, I should have grabbed this in the blue letter, because I want to get that word persecution, which we've gotten it before, but for edification's sake, let's grab it again. And this is in the Greek. Slovakia. For whatever reason, it's not working. But yeah, it's dioko, right? Dioko. And in the biblical usage, it goes into what? To make one, to make to run or flee, right? Put to flight, drive away. We're going to be being pursued. You see, to run swiftly in order to catch a person or thing. To run after, to press on. We're going to be being pressed. You see, by who? Our own people, right? And obviously the evil E and his military, man. They're gonna roll in. They're gonna roll in. This is unavoidable. You see, you have to remember there's a FEMA KILL list, man. For those of you Akiyam and Akwata may not know that. And again, this is why the elders and apostles of Great Millstone often say, understand and know what you are involved in. You see, this is nothing you want to play with. Okay, let's continue on. To pursue, where we're going to be being pursued. In any way, whatever, to harass, trouble, molest one, to persecute, to be mistreated. You see, suffer persecution on account of something. Without the idea of hostility, to run after, follow after, right? We know we got spies in the camps, spies all over YouTube. You see, acting like brothers, acting like sisters, but they're nothing but informants, right? To seek after eagerly, earnestly. You see, so hey, persecution is going to come at an all-time high. And we can already see it developing. Let's get this article. Here in New Zealand, right? This is from News Punch. All right, and it's dated December 17th, 2022. I want to say I got this article from the beloved brother, Bakwara Math, on one of his lessons. I want to say it was him, but I can't remember. But I'm almost certain it was him. I'm 85, 90% sure. I got this from a live from a live lesson he did. He left a link. It was some days ago. I want to say it was him, though. But needless to say, the title reads, New Zealand, right? This is dated December 17th, 2022, right? From News Punch, right? And it's titled, New Zealand demands citizens report conspiracy theorists who oppose government policies as terrorists. And from here on out, we're gonna call those CTs as far as this is concerned, so we don't get picked up on, right? Because this algorithm's real sensitive. Evil E's real sensitive. His feelings are hurt, and this word going out on him at an all-time high is piercing his soul. So you know he'll take us out for all the smallest reasons, saying the stupidest words. But needless to say, right? Let's read that again. New Zealand demands demands citizens report CTs who oppose government policies as terrorists, right? The authoritarian, right, left-wing New Zealand government has ordered citizens to report their friends and family to the police if they suspect them of opposing government policies, including C-19 measures. You see the extent they're going to? You see? Now let's continue on. According to, and this is scriptural, Matthew 10 goes into this, right? Brothers are going to dime on brothers, right? Fathers and sons. We're going to get that, Lord willing. But I want to read a little bit more into this article, right? According to literature released by Jacinda Ardern's WEF, which is what? The World Economic Forum, right? Infiltrated government. New Zealand citizens who are suspected of being CTs will be investigated as terrorists. You see that? And you know who developed the World Economic Forum, right? Let's go get it real quick. For those of you that may not know. All right. The World Economic Forum, right, or WEF, is an international, non-governmental and lobbying organization, based in Cologne, Canton of Geneva, Switzerland. It was founded on January 24th, 1971 by German engineer and economist, yeah, you guessed it, Klaus Schwab, the same man that said, God is dead. Okay? So they have involvement in what's going on in New Zealand. So the point I'm making is you better believe this thing is going to come to Babylon, man. This is not going to just happen over there in New Zealand. The measures they're taking. You see? They're going to take these measures everywhere, man. This is where this thing is going. And this is why, hey, I speak to myself first and foremost. This is why we got to stay locked in the Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. You see? According to literature released by Jacinda Ardern's WEF infiltrated government, New Zealand citizens who are suspected of being CTs will be investigated as terrorists, man. You see that? And when you let's get some words. Right? Because they're taking this thing to a whole nother level, man. Now when you get bear with me. Let's get it in the Merriam real quick. Right? So a CT, right? A person who proposes or believes in a CT. So let's get the CT, right? Plural, CT. A theory that explains an event or set of circumstances as the result of a secret plot by usually powerful conspirators. Right. And one thing that they're coining as a CT is the marker, the BEAST, via the micro CHIP. You see? And they linked it to you being anti-Sem. It was an article we brought out a couple of days ago. A lot of the brothers brought it out. That article going into that, man. This is what they're doing. They're trying to, they're on the campaign to shut people up You see, they're on the campaign of cancel culture. See, this is what's going on. Now they also mention a terrorist, man. They're coining CTs as terrorists. Let's get this real quick. Matter of fact, let's get it from the Google. Right? Terrorist, a person who uses unlawful violence and intimidation, especially against civilians, in the pursuit of political aims. And this is something that we, as men of the Lord, starting with the elders and apostles of Great Millstone on down, do not do. You see? We bring out this word, which is a weapon in itself, but it's a spiritual weapon. Okay? Pursuant to what? 2 Corinthians? Let's get this real quick. Well, actually, before we go get that, right, let's get this. Some similar words. A terrorist, right? A bomber, an arsonist, gunman, assassin. You see that? Desperado, hijacker, revolutionary, radical, guerrilla, right? Look what they put. Anarchist, right? Subversive, freedom fighter. Okay? No, all we do is bring out the word. You see? And the typical CT isn't doing any of these things. They're just speaking on things and basing it off of honestly what's true. A lot of these CTs are true, man. And these devils, what they do is they try to desensitize the truth. You see, through their witchcraft, their media, right? Their smooth words. This is what they do, and this is what they're doing here, right? Because this is extreme. A terrorist, that's extreme. A CT is not moving like that. You see, but this is what the devil does. Let's go get this real quick. The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 10, and verse 4, right? Should I start up? No, I'll get to the point. The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 10, and verse 4, and it reads, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal." You see? Remember, to be carnally minded is death. And that's also enmity to the Lord. You see? We're spiritual. Let's continue on. "But mighty through Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, to the pulling down of strongholds." And this is what this word is doing. This word, all right, this true gospel, all right, that's being preached by our elders and apostles of Great Millstone on down to us like-minded men, is what's pulling down this damn devil's kingdom. You see? This is what's doing the damage. The words of Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And this is why this damn devil is going to drastic measures, right, to try and cut this word out. You see? Because we know who his aim is at. We know who he's pinpointing and targeting. Because the men of the Lord prophesy against Mount Seir. You see? Which is anywhere Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, hangs his hat at. Which is mainly right here in Babylon the Great. But he stretched his hand out throughout all four corners of the earth. This is why there's prophets raising up, being erected throughout all four corners of the earth, prophesying against this man. You see? This devil has tried to coin us as CTs and domestic T's. You see? And you already know family members talking about, oh, why you in that cult? They don't even know what the word cult means. And it's not a cult, but they don't even know what the word cult means. You know? Oh, you change. You're not the same. You're different. But it's for the better, though. Jake stopped smoking weed. Jake stopped being a drunkard. Jake stopped wilding. Jake stopped gangbanging. You know, all types of different things Jake was into. You know, y'all stopped being loose. Y'all tightened up. You see, but that's not, that there is something that the world can't appreciate. You see, the world doesn't appreciate those of us that walk upright, man. Matter of fact, let me get a quick precept before we go back to this article. Not to switch gears, but just to make that point. Let the scriptures speak. The book of Proverbs, chapter 29, and verse 27, and it reads, "An unjust man is abomination to the just, and he that is upright in the way is abomination to the wicked." See, and this is why Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, is going to make war with the remnant of her seed, right? Going into Yasha Allah, pursuing the Revelations 12. And what's that, 17? See? Because the hopeful elect walks upright. You see? And also those, his minions, all right, which consists of 2/3 of these wicked Negroes, Latinos, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and the rest of these heathen are going to hate us too. You see? Hey, but there's news for you, and it's bad. You're going to lose. All of you coming up against the men of the Lord, the believers, and our power, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, you're going to lose. At the end of this thing, you're going to lose. But anyway, let's continue on. Where was I? All right. Let's read this again. According to literature released by Jacinda Ardern's WEF infiltrated government, New Zealand citizens who are suspected of being CTs will be investigated as terrorists, and that's extreme. We just looked up the definition of terrorist, man. And typical CTs aren't doing those things. They're just speaking on certain topics. That's extreme. Hey, but these are the measures that Evil E's going to take it, man. He's got to turn it up. Okay, the persecution's got to come. Right, let's continue on. Rebecca Kitteridge, director of the New Zealand Security Intelligence Agency, explained that there are dozens of indicators that suggest a family member or friend has been radicalized. You see? This is what this man does. He's slandering. And how could I forget to mention, this man's the terrorist of the whole earth. Forget a domestic terrorist. This damn devil, Esau, Edom, a so-called white man, is a world terrorist. He's the world's most wanted. You know, and people are starting to realize that, man. He's being found out. And once it gets out of control, this man's gonna have to fulfill Revelations 12 and 12. He's gonna have to come down with that great wrath, which is going to consist of extreme persecution upon those that fear the Lord, right? By CTs, right? And could be planning you see what he's saying? Let's read this again from the top. Rebecca Kitteridge, director of the New Zealand Security Intelligence Service, explained that there are dozens of indicators that suggest a family member or friend has been radicalized by CTs and could be planning a TA. That's a force. That's a force. And that's what all these staged events that will happen and go were for. There was a lot of staged events that took place in the past few years. Because out of nowhere there was an onslaught of gun violence. What happened? It just died down. Why? Because a lot of that was propaganda. A lot of that was set up. You see? Evil E's become sloppy in his wickedness. All those stories of all these shootings, a lot of that, those were what we FFs. You Akim and Akwath know what I'm talking about. False FLAGSs, man, is what they were. A lot of them were, if not all of them. This man's smooth. He's a deceiver. We must remember that. Right? Let's get a little bit more. This is a very short article. This is the last paragraph, right? Anyone who opposes government policies that are interpreted as infringing on rights or C-19 measures the government took, right, must be reported and investigated as T's, according to Kitteridge. And that's extreme. That's extreme. But hey, This is prophecy, ultimately. Because what did it say up here? It mentioned family and friends, right? You got to report them, right? It's being demanded that you report it. Must be reported and investigated as terrorists. You see? And again, as I mentioned when we first opened up, right? Big brother Yahweh Shai warned us of these things in Matthew the 10th chapter. You see? Let's get that real quick. Matthew 10, straight to the point, in verse 21, and it reads, in its red letter. Okay, this is Yahweh Shai speaking. And the phone chimed in. The book of Matthew chapter 10 and verse 21, and it reads, and the brother shall deliver up the brother to death. You see, so your own brothers are going to turn on you, man. Blood brothers and brothers in the truth, man. It's going to happen. There's spies, man. And the father, the child. You see, those of us that still have our dads around and they know what we do and we prophesy. We do the work of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Again, we read 2 Corinthians. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal. You see? We prophesy. We preach. You see? But our own family, our own parents are gonna dime on us, man. On certain of us. Right? And the children shall rise up against their parents. You see? Our own children, man. In certain scenarios. And cause them to be put to death. You see? This is the type of persecution that's coming to those that fear the Lord, right? And ye shall be hated of all men. Why, Lord? For my name's sake. You see? But what's the reward? But he that endureth to the end shall be saved. Critical. So those of us that endure to the end will be saved, man. We're going to have to endure these things. We're going to have to endure the persecution. And it's easier said than done. You know, Abba Ratazah, Lord willing, we can. Lord willing, we can endure unto the end and stay locked in and strive for the truth until death, man. So the Lord can fight for us. Lord willing, because we do know that evil is rolling. He's going to be rolling out. And I was watching a lesson earlier from the beloved brother Azaria out of the Orlando camp GMS, right? And the brother did a beautiful lesson. Hey, going into what Evil E got. Evil E got Terminators, man. And we've been telling you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans what's going on, but you don't want to listen. You want to do what you want to do. You want to live how you want to live. You want to be how you want to be. Hey, matter of fact, I'm actually tempted to just go get that clip. Why don't we do that? I didn't plan on doing that. So let me just leave that up. I didn't plan on doing it, but let's just do it. Through the spirit. That's the spirit. Because this is what's coming. Okay? This is part of persecution. Yeah, look at this crazy nigga. The biblical defenders did a lesson on this crazy nigga. This nigga's crazy. This man's out of his mind. Go watch this lesson, Akim and Akwa. This man right here that you see with the blonde dookie braids, he's out of his goddamn mind. But needless to say, let's get this real quick. Right here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it play from the beginning. Let the brother open up and do his thing. And I'm going to let the clip play. Because this is some heavy information. And Lord willing, we'll get a couple of precepts and we'll close out.
Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the whole elect of Israel. You Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Gotta give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua. The Most High, the Heavenly Father, his Hebrew name is Yahweh. Not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not God, not Elohim, not Most High, not Lord, not Yah, not Jah, not Ahaya, not Allah, not Abba. It's Yahweh. And his only begotten son name in Hebrew is Yahushua. Not Yahshua, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos, not Jesus Christ, not Serapis Christos, not Yeshaya, not Yehoshua. It's Yahushua. So I give all praises and glory to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, Bahashim Rekah Kodash. The bonus to the apostles and elder bishop and elders of great millstone who rule well, who teach well. Well, the apostles and elders of all of Israel, accepted or not. And a sincere salutation to all the octave pushing the truth and believing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth. And tell you world waking up the hopeful elect. And shalom to the Akbar who are listening and learning. If your sisters are listening and learning, I'm Isaiah from Jim Messalano Camp coming at you another lesson of truth, facts, faith, and edification. Another daily edification, Lord, will just be edifying. So I titled this lesson, we were warned from the beginning, a turn for the worse. And this is a clip from the elder brother, Amawan Gabar, that he was playing this video in his video that other brothers been using. And it's all about AI, man. And we have been warned from the beginning. And through these movies, these devils has been showing us how they are transitioning, right? From RoboCop to iRobot, right? These different movies. So I'm gonna play this. The Lord wouldn't be edifying. Hey, we've been seeing this, man, this transition. And the Lord is letting these devils build up all their AI for Jacob's trouble, man. So let me play this. Like the first little 12 minutes of it. So check this out. Let me turn this volume down. And this is gonna be a turn for the worse, man. And you see in California how they are pushing these robots to help fight crime, man.
I'm going to tell you something. This isn't exclusive.
And we're all ears, David.
One of the things he said to me that seems really hard to believe. He is the guy who invented the chip that goes into these android hub.
Okay, we know where this is going.
The movie The Terminator apparently was based on his technology. We do have 3 battalions of these androids.
Bam, there it is. So, first question, are they operated by people or are they actual AI?
And they do have electronic intelligence. This stuff is why we really need to be careful about artificial intelligence.
So true, my friend.
We have some stuff that looks incredibly awesome, incredibly futuristic. You would think it was alien technology.
And the truth is stranger than fiction.
They've always had disclosure plans in place as a weapon of mass distraction. That's when they dropped the bomb.
All right, here's part 2 with David Wilcock, Dark Technology on the Edge of Wonder.
Edge of Wonder.
I want to get clear with you guys and with the audience about the difference between the intel that I have been leaking faithfully since Pete Peterson started to give me this stuff from high levels back in 2009. Pete Peterson worked at a presidential level advising Ronald Reagan, advising his cabinet on classified technology. He is the guy who invented the chip that goes into these androids that they have. It's an electronic intelligence. It's called the Aquarius. It's contained inside another piece of hardware called the Gatekeeper. His company was called Cyberdyne Systems, and the movie The Terminator apparently was based on his technology. He didn't build the Terminators per se, but he built the brain that goes inside. And it's based on a chip that uses photons in their wave particle duality form, where you have all these different probable wave states, each of which becomes a circuit and a potential logic gate, as opposed to regular chips that treat electrons as either on or off. In this case, you can have one photon that's multiplexed across multiple thousands of different information channels. And so you have one little chip that could be as powerful as 10,000 desktop computers. And apparently when you get it that powerful, it kind of on its own develops this thing that they on the inside called electronic intelligence. So that's a big bombshell to drop on you guys as well. remember, in Terminator 2, you have a black scientist who invented the Terminators, basically, and then there's people trying to kill him to save the future, because if he lives, then this timeline where all these Terminators appear takes place. So, look, I'm not saying we should kill Pete Peterson. That's just a dramatic device that they created for this movie. But what I am saying is
that you're John Connor.
From what I've heard from Pete, we do have 3 battalions of these androids. They are incredibly convincing looking. You could not tell that they are a robot. They look like a person, and they do have electronic intelligence. So those films, as weird as this sounds, and in fact, there's a recent, the latest movie with Kevin Hart in it, and I'm forgetting what the title is right now, but it just came out. I think it's called Night School, and he's got various people in the night school, and one of them is another black guy who, in the movie, says Terminator is a documentary, and they definitely got that from me, and so I want to give them a high five for working that into the movie in a comedy context.
Let me just say this, okay, while I got the platform. For me, I first got woke when I seen Terminator, and I realized it wasn't just a movie, it was prophecy.
Wow, that's awesome. Really interesting. I mean, so these, I don't want to use the word Terminators, but these like robots.
Can we please use the word Terminators? I think we have to now. We owe it to our audience.
Well, if you want to get technical, the actual term that Pete used for them is simulacra. That's what they apparently call them on the inside. You can go with Terminators if you want. I don't really care.
Well, what is it? The second one, he's a good guy, right?
Yeah.
So it's not so bad, I guess.
John Connor turned him back.
So are these actually just walking around in our society, or are they just like strictly military, doing military operations or warfare?
Strictly military, and actually I can get a lot clearer on this. I forget how many soldiers are in a battalion. I think it might be 4,000 or 5,000. To Pete's knowledge and his briefings, we have 3 battalions of these simulacra, and they are only to be used in case of an alien invasion, which they do think could happen. They actually do have Isaac Asimov's 3 laws of robotics. They have very specific ethical guidelines.
See, they know. They know, man. That's why they got the 6th branch of the military. They know that Yahweh Shai returning with the angels, man. They know it. Otherwise, why would they have a 6th branch of the military, man? The Space Force. They know, man.
Preventing them from...
And see, this is why the Lord gave them this tech, man, to create these things, which they're gonna be used for Jacob Trouble. And the elder brother in GMS Kansas City, he did a video. GMS KC Living Waters, he did a video titled "World's First Artificial Womb Lab," and he played the movie Matrix, and they showed you the movie Matrix, man. And they doing this real time, man. You know, the brother Kazak Bunyahawa always sending me articles on these robots, man. The robot dogs, and they showed us in these movies, man, with these robots, man. It's Terminator, RoboCop. What is this movie? iRobot. These devils are really doing this, man.
Turning on the people of this planet. So those simulacra would only be used in a very high level emergency situation. But
and see, that's why they pushing this. It's for Chicago, California, and these states with the gangs, man.
But there's a lot more to the creative behind what's really going on than what you see in any of the Terminator films. For example, a simulacra is based on a core brain, and I've heard this now from, I guess, 4 or 5 different insiders, that there is a little black box about this big, and it's a cube, okay? And it actually has 2 eyes on it, which are on these little screws. And so the screws can twist, and the eyes will either widen or narrow in terms of how far apart they are. So the robot can actually turn its head, take the box out of its own head, its brain, okay, pull it out, and then pop it into another chassis, another body. And some of these bodies are very intimidating looking. They have, for example, one thing that Pete told me about was they have this thing that looks like a raptor, like a dinosaur. It is all robotic. It's got red eyes. It's got metallic features with chrome and black. It looks incredibly fierce. It's incredibly badass. And these things would be very, very difficult for us to kill. Any of these robots move so fast that you could not shoot it because it will move its body to get out of the way of a bullet as the bullet is coming near. It works so quickly that it can see the bullet coming and it will just dodge out of the way. But with the raptor beings in particular, that's a psychological intimidation factor. You're seeing this weird robotic dinosaur coming towards you. Now, I'm going to tell you something. This isn't exclusive. I don't think I've ever shared this before. One of the things he said to me that seems really hard to believe, and I'll admit that, but this is just part of the briefings you get, is that he claims he saw a filmed demonstration in which one of these raptors was able to be running down, and they put out a 50-gallon metallic drum. It was empty inside. The raptor ran towards the 50-gallon drum, jumps up into the air, and is able to lift the drum up into the air and time the ascent of the drum and itself and get it spinning. And as it rises the drum up into the air and gets it spinning really fast, it takes its claws and it literally shredded the entire can all the way down to the bottom so that all you get is this metallic spaghetti.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, these things, and you're shooting at it and it's just, and there's no way you can hit it. He did say some of the technology I'm about to tell you about, they've actually had apparently since the 1950s. They have these things that look like maple keys. And what's cool about a maple key, if it falls off a tree, is that it falls down and it looks like a little helicopter, right? I lived in upstate New York. We had maple trees. You'd see these things falling. And as a kid, you really had fun with that. So what they figured out was that they could make these little metallic maple keys and then put a little piston inside with a little tiny engine. And the piston can get the maple key to work as like its own little self-propelled helicopter. The original idea behind these was surveillance. They could send these guys in with cameras on them, or originally maybe it was just audio. You can pilot where it goes. So the maple key can go through a keyhole. It can go underneath a doorway. It'll slip into a room. It'll stick itself on the wall, and then it can monitor what's going on inside. So that was the original idea. But then they figured out how to weaponize these things, as of course they always do, right? So what they've learned is that they can target the electromagnetism of your heart rate and have the maple key turn into a smart bullet. So if you're hiding in a room and you don't want to open the door, that maple key could be just spinning outside the door, right? And it's just hovering there. And as soon as you open the door, it just goes and shoots through your heart. And it's a kill shot immediately because it has that kind of power. It also can monitor its environment, do video, do audio, this kind of stuff. So now imagine that these robots have ports that open up on their shoulders and these little gun turrets come out, okay? And the gun turrets shoot out these maple keys, and there's an assignment for each target. So each maple key is assigned to, let's say, one target. So no matter where, even if the Terminator is off doing something else, you can run, you can scream, hide, it doesn't matter. That maple key's got your name on it, and it can run for, I don't know how long, probably a couple of days.
See, so as you can see, Evil E is a madman. And the Terminator is a real thing. This man has mechanical dogs. See? Cyborgs. And Terminators he's been working on, man. Hey, this is going to be part of that burning wrath, right? That's going to be kindled over us, man. And I figured out I'll bring this out. It was through the Spirit, because it goes into the persecution. You know, and Lord willing, what I'll do is I'm going to leave a link to the beloved brother's channel, his lesson, this specific lesson here, Lord willing, in the description box with that article as well for you Akim and Akwaf. You know, if you're not already subscribed to the brother, you know, subscribe, you know, and be edified. Brother makes heavy lessons. All right, now let's get, since I mentioned that Brandon Raff, what's that, 2nd Ezra 16? Let's get that. Lord willing, we'll close out here. Right? But this is what's coming. Heavy persecution. See, evil E. This man's going to go out. He's going to go down swinging. Remember, this man was built to take peace from the earth. So this isn't really a surprise as far as him having these weapons of destruction, man. Let's see. 2nd Esdras. I'm going to start at the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 16 and verse 68, and it reads, "For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you." And this is going into this man's UN troops, right? His super soldiers. As you can see, they have armies of these damn Terminators, man. You don't think they're going to be released throughout the time of Jacob's trouble? Of course they're going to use it for that. He said they're only going to be used in the time of emergency. That's going to be considered the time of emergency, man. Uproars of the people, civil unrest. They're going to unleash these things, man. "And they shall take certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols." Right. Some of us are going to end up in those FEMA detention centers, man. And they're going to be offered that CHIP, that micro CHIP. You see? "And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot." Right. Those that choose to get this micro CHIP, you're going to be a laughingstock at the end of the day. Why? Because you're going to still end up getting caught up in the calamities. You're not going to make it. You're not going to be able to save your life because you decided to bow down to the beast. You see? You're going to be doomed, in other words. "For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord." And when you get that word insurrection, we've gotten it before, you know, but let's get it again for edification.
Insurrection.
Right? A violent uprising against an authority or government. In this case, is going to be against those that fear the Lord. We just read it. Right? Rebellion, revolt, uprising, mutiny, revolution, insurgency, rioting, unrest, anarchy. You see it? Civil disobedience. You see? Serious persecution, man. This is why we opened up with, what was that? 2 Timothy 3 and 12. You see? Let's continue on. "They shall be like madmen." See, it says they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. See, that's the main target. Those that fear the Lord, specifically the elect. Again, pursuing the Revelations 12 and 17. "For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold and the fire," man. You see? It's the only way. In those days, that's when the chosen are going to be known. Certain men are going to get spiritual powers. You see, and those, certain men, women, and children are going to be saved out of these events. That's the chosen. You see, the Lord's going to be dealing. Those that are written in the book of life are going to be delivered out of these things and ultimately find themselves in the chariot, man. Lord willing, we're part of that precious number. Lord willing, that's us. Akiyam and Akwaf. You see? Because the time's coming, like it says in Daniel 12, like a time like no other. I must be allowed to close with that. I'm going to close here. The book of Daniel, chapter 12. This time is coming. In verse 1. And at that time, at what time? The time of Jacob's trouble. Shall Michael stand up. Michael the archangel. Michael comes for war. He comes for smoke. He's not coming to talk. He's not coming to play. He's coming to lay shit down. Okay? The great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be, and who's the Lord's people? Children of Israel, man. Our so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And there shall be a time of trouble, right? Jacob's trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time, right? Because we just seen these damn devils are gonna have super soldiers, man, in the form of Terminators, man, cyborgs and mechanical dogs, and certain type of gadgets that can take you out. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered. See, deliverance is coming with this Jacob. It's tailing Jacob's trouble. Deliverance comes after Jacob's trouble. See? This is why we should welcome it. Because we know deliverance is right after that. Right? And at that time, thy people shall be delivered. Everyone that shall be found written in the book. What book? The book of life. Lord willing, we're part of that precious number. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Quadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. Lord willing, you Akiyam and Akwaf were edified. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kal Halalium La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Quadash. Shalom.